Thank you, everyone, for joining us. My name is Susan Walker, if you don't know me by now, and I'm thrilled to have Ms. Kim Lucy here with us. I'm just letting some more people in to talk to us tonight all about river and ocean cruising with Viking. And I also have, with my team members, I have Chris, who's also here, and Miss Janice as well. So thanks, and Ed as well. So thanks, guys, for joining us. And Kim, thank you. You're a busy lady now with everybody super interested in the river and the ocean. Bookings are coming up rather quickly. And so this is a great time to reintroduce everyone to the company of Viking River and Ocean Cruises. So thanks, Kim.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Something I love to do, and I've done lots of it over the last year, talking to people and trying to keep their dreams alive. And I think that's what we all want to do, right? We want to take those dreams now and make them happen. So tonight, I hope I will inspire you and take you on a bit of a journey with our river and ocean cruises and just give you a little piece of what's to come. We have started to sail, which is great news. We have started ocean cruising in Europe, in the UK, with some of our British clients, and we'll be starting to travel with. We're going to be starting to travel in Europe, in Iceland, in Bermuda, and also in the Mediterranean, starting in July for doubly vaccinated guests, mostly from the U.S. right now. But in talking to everybody just a few minutes ago, it sounds like many of us are getting those 2 vaccines. So we hopefully will be able to travel very, very soon. So I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey today, but I thought I would start with a little bit about Viking. We have been in the industry, or we've been around for almost 25 years. We started in 1997 in Russia with 4 ships sailing along the waterways of the Tsars. But we have built our product around people that are curious travelers. We like to say the thinking person, people who are curious about the destinations that they visit. They're traveling to learn, to understand, to be educated, to be immersed in the destination, not just to go and sit on the beach. They really want to connect with the people there, and they want to learn as much as possible. And a lot of them have stayed very much engaged with us through our Viking TV platform, as well as through filmographies and videos and virtual travel talks that we've been doing. We have lots of reading lists and filmographies to learn about that destination. And we help you get prepared. If you're like me, you like to do a little research so you don't miss anything when you go. So we do that as well. But more importantly, what I love about travel is getting to connect with people that share my interests, people who love to travel, who have a passion. And I always find that when I sit down at dinner and start to talk to people about the places they've been, I always add new things to my bucket list. So if you're like me, you're going to enjoy the people that travel with Viking and all the destinations that we go to. And if you're also like me, you've maybe got your bucket list backed up. I know mine is. A year and a half of not being able to go anywhere, I've been adding things to my list. And the one thing with Viking is that you can travel the world with us. We travel to 7 different continents. So if that's on your list, you can do that. 95 countries. We visit 5 oceans, 20 rivers, and we even go to 5 Great Lakes with our beautiful expedition ships starting in 2022. We also visit 403 ports of call. So if you're a port collector, we've got all those ports for you. You can see them all on this map. And in many cases, you can do them with one of our world cruises. So if you want to really catch up, you can certainly do that. Unfortunately, I have to tell you that both 2022 and 2023 world cruises are already sold out. So a lot of people are looking to catch up on cruising. Now, we travel by both river and by sea. We have, as I mentioned, started in 1997 in Russia with 4 ships. We've expanded our fleet. We now have a fleet of 6 ocean ships. We're adding 2 more to that fleet this year. We also have 64 beautiful brand new river ships that are sailing along the rivers of Europe. And we also have 74 ships that are sailing around the world to a variety of destinations, including Vietnam and Cambodia, Egypt, as well as China. We'll be going back into China in the next few years. But one of the great things about these ships is that they're small and intimate, and they're able to dock right in the heart of the destination. And I think that's one of the things I miss the most about big ocean ships, is that you often are far away from the destination you want to be in. Getting on and off is always a little bit of a challenge. It takes time. And what I love about these ships is that we are able to dock in the center. Even our ocean ships are only 930 passengers. And you'll find that they have the latest green technology. I know everybody's concerned about the environment. Um, and we also have 4 different choices for you. Here you can see, you saw our ocean ships, our river ships, and here you can see our beautiful Mississippi ship that will be joining our fleet in 2022. And one of our 2 expedition ships that will also be joining our fleet in January, traveling to the polar reaches as well as the Great Lakes. So you've got lots of choices, I mentioned. And with all of our products, you're going to find yourself in a really beautiful, kind of elegant but relaxed environment with big open windows, floor to ceiling, lots of skylights, lots of opportunity to bring that destination inside. Everywhere you look on our ocean ships, you can see out. Even our main dining room has windows that open along the promenade, so you can have an alfresco dining experience, even in the heart of, in the main dining room. You'll find lots of beautiful art and surprises throughout. So whether you were traveling on our ocean or our river ships, you're going to find that same environment. You can see the picture at the very top. That's the lobby of our river ships. And down below is the lobby of our ocean ships with those lovely conversation areas where it's easy to get to know each other. And then our staterooms are beautiful as well. Again, floor to ceiling windows. The upper category, or the upper photo, is one of our river staterooms. That is a veranda stateroom that you can step out onto the outside. And down below is our standard ocean ship stateroom, which has a sitting room and a full step out veranda as well. You'll find lots and lots of lovely inclusions. So talk to your Expedia advisor and they'll be able to give you the details of what's included in each of those itineraries. But one of the things is that with Viking, we do include most things. Now, one of the other things that you're going to experience is destination focused dining. When we're traveling through these various parts of the world, we want to make sure that you also get to taste the food, maybe go to the market with the chef and do a little bit of shopping. So you'll always find on our ships, no matter where you sail with us, the changing menu every day, always available steak, Caesar salad, chicken and salmon, vegetarian entrees. And then we always have a destination menu every single day too. So you can try some of the local food no matter where you are. It's a wonderful experience and it's a chance to really dig a little bit deeper into that destination. But one of the things I love to do is to really get out and explore. And we do this in the Viking way, and that gives you the opportunity to learn a little bit about the destinations that we visit and do it in a way that fits your interests. So maybe you're like me, maybe you like to peek in people's houses, maybe you like to go to the market, maybe you like to cook, and maybe you like to learn about what makes those local communities tick. So local life is something you might really enjoy. Working World gives you some insight into what makes the economy go in these destinations. And Privileged Access pulls back the curtain and lets you peek behind them to some of the wonderful places that you might not get to see if you're traveling by yourself or in other groups. So one of those things for local life is one of the things I got to experience in Russia, and I loved it. This was our home visit with our host family into a small village and into the home of a local family in Uglitch in Russia. And here we got to try some of the local cuisine. We got to do a little bit of, or probably a lot of vodka tasting and a lot of toasting. And we got to ask questions of our hostess and really get a sense of what it's like to live in Russia. It really gave us some insight into the differences between us and the similarities. In Working World, as I mentioned, gives you a little bit of information about what makes things work, how people work and what they do and what businesses operate in these countries. And one of the examples here is learning how the windmills and the role the windmills play in Holland in keeping the country afloat. You can get a chance to go inside and learn about how they operate, what they do. You can visit a cheese farm, you can visit a tulip farm. These are all opportunities that will give you some insight. I was even fortunate to go in Cognac to learn how the brandy industry works and to blend and bottle my own vintage bottle of brandy. So if you're interested in wine tasting or olive oil or any of these things, that's what Working World gives you that insight for. And then we also have that privileged access. How many of you like music? I'm sure many of you do. And you might want to meet or enjoy one of the performances by the Viennese Boys Choir. Well, in addition to that, our privileged access allows us to go in to their residence and actually get to meet them and to have a chat with them. And one of the little boys that was performing when I went 2 years ago was a little boy from Calgary. He is one of the Viennese Boys Choir, and he was about 9 years old, and he was there. They stayed from sort of 8 to 12, and they get to travel the world. So he was pretty excited, and it was really cool to talk to him. So you might get that opportunity as well. Maybe he's still there if you're traveling to Vienna. Now, what I mentioned, what was included, and that's virtually everything. So you aren't going to get that surprise at the end of your cruise when they post the ransom note on the outside of your cruise door. I always hate that day. I don't know about you guys, but I've always spent more than I thought, and I always get that surprise. So with Viking, you're not going to get that surprise. We include a shore excursion in each port of call, all your meals, of course. We have multiple dining options that are all complimentary. We have beer, wine, and soft drinks included with lunch and dinner, and on our river ships. We also have sparkling wine if you'd like a toast at the beginning of your day. On your holiday, we include bottled water, Wi-Fi. The in-room entertainment system is included. You won't have to dig into the fine print looking for extra charges for port charges and government fees. Those are all included. And we also include our alternate restaurants on the ocean ships. So there's not a lot of extra, and anything that is extra, like gratuities, optional tours, or soft drinks and alcohol between meals, can be added on as a prepaid before you go. But here's another great tip. With Viking, we have a no corkage policy. So if you would like to bring on local beer or wine, you would like to bring duty free, you can do that. And you can bring as much as you like. You can take it anywhere on the ship, and there's no extra charges. We don't take it away from you. We don't search your luggage. You don't have to smuggle it in a water bottle if you don't want to. So that's one of the nice things, is that there's not a lot of added extra. So that surprise is not going to be there, and you can take care of it with your travel advisor prior to departure. So there really is no need to pull out your wallet. So let's take a look at where we travel by river. I always like to start with a map. Gives you a little bit of an idea where these rivers are. I know I have spent 30 years in the cruise industry. I spent 20 of those years with a large ocean cruise company, and I have sailed all around the outside of countries. And it wasn't until I went on vacation and somebody introduced me to river cruising that I got to see the country from a ship, but sailing through the heart of it. So you can see this incredible river system that runs from the North Sea all the way through the central part of Europe to the Black Sea. Now that only was opened in 1992. Up until then, this area right in the center was not you couldn't travel by ship. It was closed. They built a series of locks, 40 to 60 locks that take you up over the continental divide in Europe and bring you down the other sides about 1,500 feet, going up and down over a series of locks. So that's allowed us to do river cruising all the way across Europe and actually opened up this industry. So you'll be able to do that. You can do the full length if you like. It's 23 days, 8 countries. We travel from Amsterdam all the way to Bucharest if you want. But you can also break it into smaller pieces. You can do just Eastern Europe. You can do the central part of Europe. You can do Amsterdam down to Switzerland. That's a very popular itinerary. We go to Portugal, we go to France, we go to Russia, Ukraine. We also travel to more exotic places like Vietnam and Cambodia, to Egypt, and also we go to the Mississippi. So I thought I would share one of just some highlights from one of our most popular itineraries, the Grand European Tour. We find that most of our guests who are coming for the first time, this is the itinerary they choose first. 15 days, 13 guided tours, and you get to see 4 countries. You're going to travel through Holland, through Germany, through Austria, and into Hungary. You can go in either direction, it doesn't matter, but you'll get a chance to see some of the iconic cities, the little medieval towns, the castles, the palaces, the cathedrals, the music. You'll also get to try all the great wine and the bratwurst and the pastries, and don't forget the chocolate. All of that is available for you as well. So let's start off in Amsterdam. I always say to people, make sure you take a little extra time. We do offer pre and post, and I highly recommend it. The reason is Amsterdam is a remarkable city for exploring. It's a great city to explore by foot. You can, if you're brave, you can take on a bicycle, or you can take one of the canal boats that takes you through the series of canals and under all the bridges. There's like 200 bridges in Amsterdam, and it's a wonderful city. There are also more museums per square mile than any other city in the world. So if you'd like to, if you're an art aficionado, you would love the Van Gogh Museum, the Rijksmuseum, if you're interested in history. Anne Frank House is here, where the family was hidden while she wrote her diary. There's a music museum, a chocolate museum, a maritime museum. There's a little bit of something for everybody. There's even a Bowls distillery museum, and not to mention the Heineken Museum, which is really fun to explore. So there's lots to see and do here. If you're interested, I highly recommend it. If you're not, you can arrive, and we dock in the center of the city, so you'll be able to walk very easily into the center of the old city and do a little exploring on your own, or you can take a walk with our program director after dinner before we sail, and he'll take you through the old part of the city, and you'll get a chance to see some of the older buildings, the little winding streets, and also maybe get a little spicy view of the red light district as well. From there, we will start to sail through Holland and into Germany. And one of my favorite stops along the river is Cologne. And we dock right where those boats are sitting. And you'll get a chance to walk into the city. It's 5 minutes to 10 minutes walk to that beautiful cathedral, which is really the central part of Cologne. Now, Cologne was badly damaged in the Allied bombing in the Second World War. So the cathedral was one of the few buildings that remained standing, was pretty much undamaged. The reason being is that a lot of the bombers, the Allied bombers, were using it as a beacon and a navigational point to know where to go next from into Germany for their bombing raids. So the cathedral itself is magnificent. It's about 1,000 years old. It's the largest Gothic cathedral in Europe and is fantastic. If you're interested in and not afraid of heights, you might want to do our privileged access. It takes you right up into the roof and onto the roof of the cathedral, right up there with the gargoyles. So you can check that out as well. But it's a wonderful city. We do stay late, so if you'd like to do a little pub crawl, you can go, or have a local dinner. You can do that by just across the street from where we dock is all the little cobblestone streets and the medieval part of the town, where there's lots of little beer gardens and beer stroops, so you can try some of the local Kolsch beer and also get a little bit of the local culture. This is also one of my favorite cities for shopping. So ladies, if you like shoes, this is an amazing city for that as well. And then we start to sail through the Middle Rhine. Now, this is a World UNESCO Heritage Site, and there are 40 castles that dot the hillsides, like the one you see, that's the Cat's Castle. They dot the islands and also the vineyards along this stretch of the river. They were used for fortifications, but also as toll booths. And so they collected tolls for people that were traveling up and down the river. So many of them are not available for guests to travel into or to get into. They're privately owned still. Some of them are in ruins, but there are one or two that we do have access to as part of the museum system, and you'll get a chance to go in and visit. Now, we also visit some of these little medieval towns like Miltenberg. They date back to the 11th and 12th centuries with these beautiful timbered buildings and little winding streets, and often they have a little castle or a big castle, and you'll have a chance to wander through. Miltenberg is known for a couple of different things. One, it's known for the glass blowing. So we have a glass blower that comes on board and demonstrates, but it's also known for the oldest inn in Germany. So you might want to check that out. It's also great for pretzels and beer if you want to try some of the local snacks as well. And then we also visit Passau, which is the last city in Germany before crossing into Austria. And actually on the right-hand side, you can see that the old part of the city is actually wrapped by 3 different rivers. You've got the Ill, the Inns, and the Danube all come together right at this point. So this city becomes very important in terms of tracking water levels as well. If you go to the City Hall, you can see the markings of the high water over the centuries. The highest right now being 600 years being 2013, when the water levels were over 50 feet high, higher than normal. But it's the old part of the city. You can walk around. It's situated in the river. and it's about 2 kilometers. So if you want to do a little walk, you can. Also, that white cathedral that you see there in both pictures is has the oldest, largest pipe organ in Western Europe, and we have a lovely concert there. Now, I've had some fun in Passau. It's a great city for shopping, for having great lunch, but it's also, there's lots of different things to do. You can hike up to the castle on the hill. You do have a hiking trip. And I did a biking trip that took me up one side of the river. And we crossed over on a bridge into Austria, and we pedaled back down the other side and back into the city. And it was, so if you're an active traveler, we do have hiking and biking experiences. You can even go paddling in a national park in Vienna. Now, Vienna is my favorite city in Europe. I love it. Here we are looking at the Hofburg Palace, right in the heart of the old city. It's surrounded by the Ringstrasse, which used to be the moat and the fortification walls around the old city. The Hofburg Palace spreads over about 6 blocks, and it's now was the center of the Austro-Hungarian Empire with 6 or 7 generations of emperors living and building on this incredible palace. It now doesn't house royalty. It has some great museums and art galleries, but it's also the home of the Lipizan stallions. So if you want to check them out, if you're horsey like I was when I lived in Alberta, you can go in and see their stables, and you might even catch either a training performance or a full performance. We do often, on this itinerary, we stay overnight. So you have 2 days here, so you'll have time to do that. To enjoy it. Also, you can see the Viennese Boys Choir. And one of my favorite things to do here is just to go and drink in the atmosphere, try the local cafes, eat some of the pastry and the Wiener Schnitzel, and enjoy the atmosphere and the music of Vienna. Of course, this is where all the major performers and composers lived, uh, including Strauss and Mozart and Beethoven. It's an incredible city for music everywhere, not to mention beautiful parks. And then finally, we get to Budapest, and you can see Budapest behind me. I am sitting up at the castle overlooking the beautiful Danube River, as you are in the photograph that I'm showing you. We've got the Parliament buildings, and we dock right nearby. You've got walking on both sides. You've got the castle on one side, and the old city of Pest with the Parliament buildings on the other. It's filled with pedestrian streets, an incredible market for shopping. If you want to pick up great souvenirs, our chef will be shopping there if you want to go with him to pick up Hungarian food to serve you on our evening in Budapest. And we also bring on dancers and entertainers, so throughout this trip, you'll be able to enjoy some of those cultural activities while you're relaxing on board your ship. So it gives you a little taste of some of the places we visit along the river. I can tell you that every time I go, there's something new to discover, and lots of wonderful experiences to be had. Now, if you've already done the Grand European, maybe there's some other places you'd like to view, like France. I love this itinerary because it takes 2 8-day itineraries and puts them together with a train ride. So this one starts off in Paris, and we dock right near the Eiffel Tower, right close to where that picture is taken. And you'll be able to step off and walk all along the Seine River. You'll be able to see the Champs-Élysées and the Louvre and all of these wonderful monuments that you'll find in Paris. And then we sail up the Seine River. We visit little villages like Giverny, where Claude Monet painted many of his masterpieces, onward to Rouen, which is where Joan of Arc was condemned and burned at the stake. And then we spend a whole day visiting the beaches of Normandy. And as a Canadian, you can go to the Canadian Memorial, you can go to the landing beaches at Arromanches, and you can also go to the Canadian Cemetery at Cossé. And it is an incredible moving experience, probably one of the most incredible places I've been, and one of the top 5, I think, of places that I've been to that really impressed me. And then back to Paris, we catch a train and we join an identical ship in Lyon. Lyon is a culinary center. You'll find many of the best chefs in France have restaurants here. It's also in the heart of the Beaujolais and Burgundy wine area, and it's filled with Roman history. As you sail along this river, you'll see temples that date back to the 2nd century, colosseums that are still being used today that are from the Roman times, aqueducts. And you'll also get to taste great food that's famous from Provence, as well as amazing wines. So great itinerary for those who are interested. We also have a trip to to Bordeaux. So for those who would like to indulge a little bit more in wine and food, you can certainly do that on our Chateaus, Rivers, and Wines itinerary. Now I'm going to leave you with just one last itinerary. This is where we started everything for Viking, in Russia. And this is, again, one of my favorite trips. And I think, Susan, you did this trip as well, or maybe you did China. But this was an amazing trip for me. And if you've been to St. Petersburg, your appetite was whetted to see a bit more of Russia. And if you haven't, you'll love it. We spent 3.5 days in St. Petersburg, 3.5 days in Moscow, and then we traveled through the rural part of Russia. You'll see the two biggest lakes in Europe, and lots of little towns that are dedicated to preserving the history and the art and the culture and the music of Russia. And you really get a chance to meet the people. I love this itinerary because you've got those two cosmopolitan cities, but you've also got some relaxation and beautiful scenery. It's not unlike Alberta, actually. It reminded me a lot of northern Alberta and some of the lakes and rivers that I've been on as a kid. But it's a beautiful place. You see the Hermitage down at the bottom, one of the largest art galleries in the world with over 3 million pieces of art. So there's lots to see and do, and it has great history. So we've got lots of other places to explore here. You can see all the different itineraries we have for cruising in Europe, including Portugal, which is opening up, France, which is opening up July, August, and hopefully for all of us Canadians, we'll be able to get back there in the fall. We also have Christmas markets for those who are interested in those types of experiences, as well as Southeast Asia to Vietnam and Cambodia, and Egypt, which is a great itinerary that I enjoyed. And if you've got Ukrainian history, I know many of you coming from the Alberta, northern Alberta in particular, with Ukrainian history or heritage, we also have a visit there. Now, I also wanted to mention that if you want to stay a little closer to home, we are launching our Mississippi product with one beautiful ship that is not a paddle wheeler. It's a hybrid between our river and our ocean ships with incredible balcony staterooms and lots of viewing areas. This launches in the early part of 2022. And we have, as you can see, lovely areas for you to enjoy. The Aquavit Terrace, which is our indoor-outdoor dining experience, the Explorer's Lounge at the bow with beautiful scenic viewing areas. The bow, actually, which is right at the front of the ship, where you can sit unobstructed and enjoy the view. And then I love the infinity plunge pool. It makes me feel like Tom Sawyer. I can sit there, dangle my feet over the edge, just like I would if I was Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn fishing off the back. And then from there, we do offer a variety. Oops, I missed it. Let's go back. Some great itineraries. So if you're interested in seeing this part of the world, we have 4 different itineraries that we offer. We start off in the winter months down in the south, New Orleans and Southern Charms, doing a round trip New Orleans. Spending overnight in New Orleans, you get time to explore. We visit the antebellum cities and houses of St. Francisville, Baton Rouge, and also into Natchez up to Vicksburg, which is the Civil War Center. And then onward, as the weather improves, we go all the way up to Memphis, the home of Elvis, and great music, great barbecue, and the civil rights movement. And then we also do that sailing during the holiday season in December, so you can travel and enjoy some of the traditions of the South at Christmas. And then in the summertime, we move north up to St. Louis, and we sail between St. Louis and St. Paul, Minneapolis. So you'll be able to enjoy some of those great cities, the Quad Cities, home of the John Deere tractor, Hannibal, which is where Mark Twain lived and created all his wonderful stories. So you can see where he walked and what inspired him. So these are just some of the great places that we visit along here. And then we also have a 15-day cruise that takes you from one end to the other. Now, those ones are actually almost completely sold out for 2022 and 2023. And we've opened up 2024 already, if you can believe it. But Mississippi is super popular. And if you're interested in this one, don't wait, because 2022 sold out, 2023 is almost sold out. And as a result, we've opened 2024. So I wanted to just wrap up with a quick overview of our ocean ships. A lot of people don't realize that we actually have a fleet of 6 ships sailing. We have 8 that will be in the water by the end of this year, and we will have 10 by the end of 2023. So we actually are one of the largest small ship ocean cruise lines that a lot of people don't realize. So, and over the past 5 years, we have earned the #1 spot with Travel and Leisure, with Connie Nast, and a lot of the top rated passenger sites. So it's, we're very proud of that. And what we did was we took that river cruise experience and created an ocean cruise experience. So it really is a little bit different than what everybody else offers. You won't find casinos on board. For all of our products, we are adult focused. So we don't have children under 18. We know you love your kids and your grandkids, as we all do, but we don't always like to travel with other people's kids. So it is adult focused. And we don't have all the stuff you find on a lot of big ships: umbrella drinks, photographers, art auctions. We include beer, wine, and soft drinks with lunch and dinner. We have no charge for alternate restaurants. We have no charge for Wi-Fi. You can use the laundrettes. And we include the soap and tokens. There's no entrance fee to use the spa. So if you want to go and have a steam, or you want to go into the thalassotherapy pool, you don't have to pay extra. You don't have to buy a certain category, and you certainly don't have to buy a massage in order to use it. We don't have inside staterooms. We have designated smoking areas, but they're on the outside. There's no smoking on the interior of the ships. No formal nights, no butlers. It's country club casual. It's much more relaxed, and you won't have to constantly be waiting for that bill at the end of the cruise. There's so many things nowadays that are not included with cruising, and I always am surprised when I get on board big ships now. One of the things I love about Viking is that you really have that same experience I talked about with River, where you don't get that ransom note at the end of the cruise. And we do include everything except for gratuities, optional tours, and soft drinks and alcohol between meals. But again, we have that same no corkage policy. And we also have a beverage package at a reasonable price that can be added in advance. Everything can be prepaid. So we also have some great itineraries. This is one of our signature itineraries. The family, we're a single owner, and the family is from Bergen in Norway. And when we were starting our ocean experience, Mr. Hagen decided he wanted to create an itinerary that would welcome people into Norway as well as other Scandinavian cities, in addition to the Baltic cities. So he created this lovely itinerary, which overnights in Stockholm, overnights in Bergen, overnights in St. Petersburg, and takes you into some of the other great capitals like Copenhagen, and some of the smaller ones like Arlberg, and of course, Tallinn, Helsinki, Berlin, if you want to go, Idefjord, and the little fjords of Norway. It's a beautiful itinerary. I've done it myself. And something else I want to point out is the ship is 930 passengers. It's small enough to dock right in the center of the city. So big ships have to dock about an hour transfer or more, depending on traffic, in Stockholm from the center of the old city. We dock right in the middle. So you can step off and you're right there. In addition to that, we sail, because we don't have a casino, we sail close to the shore. So it's almost like being on a river ship, even though you're on an ocean ship. You're not just looking at open water, you actually can see the shoreline, and you get to see things that you don't always get to see on an ocean ship. So that's something else that I really enjoyed. We also travel extensively in the Mediterranean, and this is where we're going to be starting off. And we will be actually, our first sailings will be coming out of Malta, which is on that map, just down, just a little bit off the toe of Italy, on the left or on the right-hand side of Sicily that you see there. You see the streets of Messina. If you went a little bit further out, you would hit Malta. So Malta is going to be our port city for the summer months. And we are going to be sailing into Greece, into Italy, and also into the Croatian coast. But this is a wonderful itinerary that we'll be sailing through the fall. Barcelona overnight, and we dock in the center of Barcelona, so easy access to the city. And then into Florence, into Rome. We're going to see the French Riviera, the Italian Riviera, and also the beautiful cities of the Croatian coast, ending up in Venice. Great itinerary, but we have lots of options in this area for you. We also are going to be traveling in the Caribbean, and this is coming back as well, overnight in Puerto Rico, and then into the small Caribbean islands. And you can see 11 days, 9 guided tours, 9 countries. We almost stop in a new place, or we do every single day. So it's not like you're going to be at sea. You're actually going to be able to enjoy the experience. Now, I know a lot of people are worried about being on ships. So I wanted to just give you a moment, take a moment and tell you a little bit about what we're doing from a health and safety perspective. On both our river and ocean ships, we will be doing daily PCR testing. We have our own labs on board our ocean ships, so we can do it easily and effectively. And on our river ships, we have we're working with uh, a world class laboratory that is going to be able to turn our tests around within a short period of time. We also, if everybody needs to be fully vaccinated to travel with us at this point. And we also have infrared cameras. We've got enhanced sanitation. We even have sanitation robots similar to what they have on in the hospitals. So when you travel with Viking, I looking at what's actually there, it's almost safer than going to the grocery store these days. So you can feel safe to come back and sail with us. And if you want more detail, ask your travel advisor and they can give you access to our site as well as a video showing you just what we're doing on board the ships. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, okay, I can't decide between river and ocean. So we put them together and we actually have a river cruise and an ocean cruise that happen all together. So the first group will be traveling along the Rhine and they come into Amsterdam. In Amsterdam, both ships are docked almost side by side. The 2 port facilities are close together and we will swap you while you go out on tour. We'll move your luggage and you'll come back and board the ocean ship and travel into Scandinavia and vice versa for the passengers that are coming the other direction. So we do have this. This is a 15-day cruise if you want to try both products. We also have the Grand European that I talked about connecting with this Viking Shores and Fjords into Norway as well. So you've got a couple of different options. So as you can see, we have lots of different choices for you in Scandinavia, in the Mediterranean. We also go into the Panama Canal. We do a circumnavigation of the Caribbean. So if you want a little bit longer, maybe you're like me, you don't want to go for just 7 days or 8 days. You want to go for longer. And we have all of our itineraries are designed to link together. So they can be 8 days, 15 days, 21 days, all the way up to 131 days for the World Cruise if you would like. So you've got lots of options, and the best people to talk to are your travel advisors at Expedia Cruise Ship Centers. So I know you might still be maybe a little bit nervous about booking something. We do have our risk-free guarantee still available through the end of June. So this allows you to cancel up to 14 days prior to departure, and you won't lose any cancellation penalties. We will convert the money you've paid us into a future cruise voucher that's good for 2 years. So that you can plan for a future cruise if you feel a little bit nervous about traveling. But insurance is always important, so please make sure that you've talked to your travel advisor and you have insurance that will cover medical expenses as well, and anything inside 14 days. Now, I also wanted to mention that if you are looking to escape this fall and maybe you haven't got anything booked, we are offering a Welcome Back to the World sale. And this is including a Silver Spirits beverage package, which is a beverage package that is worth about $25 per person per day. And that is available on any of our 2021 river sailings with a few exceptions, and on our 2021 ocean, fall, Mediterranean, and some of our Caribbean sailings. You do need to book by June 30th, and you do have to make sure that you've got you've reached the health and safety standards that are required, which is a minimum of double vaccine. So that is something to talk to your advisor about, but it is something to look forward to. And if you haven't got something booked, take advantage of it. Talk to your advisor, and they can get you booked for this fall. We do have a little bit of space left, not a lot, I'll tell you. And then we also have free air for our European river cruises, Grand European, European Sojourn, and Waterways of the Czars for 2022 and 2023. And this is a great savings for you. I have just booked some flights to travel to Hawaii, and I will tell you something. The air tickets have gone up a crazy amount because they are reduced capacity, fewer people, and they haven't been flying, just like we haven't been cruising. So, and plus fuel costs are going up. So there's a lot of, I'm noticing that the prices on air have really increased. So this is a great opportunity for you to lock in free air. We don't even know what that air is going to cost us in 2022 or 2023. So we're going to absorb whatever that extra is going to be, and you are going to be able to travel with confidence. So, Susan, I hope that I've inspired your people. I hope they've added some things to their bucket list, hopefully some Viking cruises, and maybe are feeling a little bit more confident and inspired to travel sometime in the near future, maybe this fall, maybe definitely 2022 and 2023. So I am happy to answer any questions that you might have, and just want to say thank you to you and your guests for taking some time out of this really beautiful evening to join me to think about the future of travel.
Thank you, Kim. That was so great. It definitely, I have my list of places that I still have to get to. And I enjoyed Viking on when I went to China. It was spectacular. It was a great, great experience. So if you want to stop sharing so we can
Yes,
see
I
you.
certainly will.
Awesome. And does anybody have any questions for us? You could either just unmute yourself. Oh, here we go from Jim and Bev. There are free flights. Are they from Canada or connectors from the US? Great question,
No,
guys.
they're all from Canada, and our prices are all in Canadian dollars as well. So from Red Deer, you can fly either out of Edmonton or Calgary. So you'll be able to set that up. And on the free air for the Grand European, the European Sojourn, that is the 23-day cruise that goes from Amsterdam to Bucharest,
Mhm.
waterways of the Czars. We do have reduced air on many of our other itineraries, so it's important to talk to your travel advisors. I know you guys are,
Mhm.
and you can you can check whatever the add-ons are, but there's still some really great prices and savings on all
Yeah,
of them as well.
yeah, you always do have really good air. So that's something that, of course, your amazing travel consultant, Jim and Bev, would make sure that you know all about that. So, any other great questions from the audience? No, you just can hardly wait to. Oh, are the flights the day of or open ended?
You can do some deviations. What we do is we book it so that you will fly out and fly back within our block based on our itineraries and embarkation, disembarkation. But we do have what we call a deviation or customization program, Air Plus, which allows you to stay up to, I think it's 4 weeks on either side. So you can make that deviation. There are some additional fees that the airlines impose, but they're reasonable. There are $100 to $300 depending on it. You can also stop over. So if you wanted to go, for example, you were flying to Germany to get on the or Amsterdam to get on the ship, and you wanted to stop off in London for a bit of time, you could do that as well. So that's you can talk to your travel advisor, and we tried to, or your vacation travel consultant, sorry, and you can organize that with them. But there is some flexibility, which I think really which makes this air great. On top of that, the price you see also includes your transfers and your taxes. And if you looked at air tickets lately, I just even when I was booking my points flights, the taxes are crazy expensive. They cost me almost as much as my ticket on a free ticket. So this is a great savings for you.
It is absolutely. Thanks, guys, for asking that question. Is there any other ones? Oh, another question. Are the shore excursions, are there listings?
Yes, there actually are. Once you're booked, you can see them on My Viking Journey.
Mhm.
You can also see them on our website, and I know Susan's got her own Viking website. So you
Mhm.
can go there, you can click on any of the ports of call, and if you scroll down on the page, you will see all the shore excursions that are offered, those that are included, those that might be optional. They don't all have the prices there, but they will be available for you if you're booked on your My Viking Journey sites. You'll be able to go in and see those probably a little bit closer to sailing because a lot of us are, we're still negotiating and everybody's trying to get back to work. We're trying to find the guides and the hotels are reopening, but you'll be able to see those as we go. And it's, yeah, there's lots of really fun stuff that you can do. And if you've got certain interests, you'll find that there's something for everybody, I think.
Yeah, yeah, no, and no, thanks, Jim and Bev, for asking those questions. Those are really great questions to ask, especially when it comes to river and ocean cruising with Viking, because it is different than you've experienced before. So we really appreciate the questions. Ed said, is there any consideration being given to clients who are anti-rejection drugs and not allowed to get the vaccines?
It's not up to us. We have to adhere to the regulations of the countries that we visit. So these are not our regulations. These are the regulations imposed by the CDC, by the World Health Organization, by the airlines, and by the countries that we enter. So that's something you're going to have to check because we can only operate if we adhere to the things that are set out by those countries. We have the PCR labs. We are doing daily saliva testing, so it's non-invasive, and the mask requirements vary. Again, they're going to vary depending on what's going on. So we'll see as we go, but and that may change too with the double vaccine. So keep that up. It really just depends on where we are in this pandemic as we move forward. So keep an eye on our website because we do update it regularly. And if there are any changes, you're going to find them there.
You bet. Yeah, it is still a very fluid situation, Kim, right? And
It
there's
sure is.
constant changes. So if you book for next year, we'll have to go tell you one thing, and chances are by the time you get ready to go, the protocols will be totally different. But
Yeah.
I know that what CDC sets out, that's the minimum or that's what Viking will do. Plus, you will enhance that with more than what you're required to do. So it'll be very safe to travel
Yeah.
with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go out and enjoy this sunshine for us
Yes.
in Alberta. We see it often. We just don't see it with the heat. So we are going to go. Thank you so much again, Kim. We really, really appreciate your support, and you're always here for our clients. And I know that many of them already know you as well. So thank you. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. Stay safe and go and check that passport to make sure it has not expired, because you're going to want to be ready to go when those gates open. So thanks, everyone. Thanks for attending. Talk to you later.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
everybody.